Jimin received an unexpected call from Jungkook, a late-night call that marked the beginning of an emotional storm shaking two global BTS icons and triggering tears from millions of their devoted fans. ARMY. What really happened behind the more than 40-minute conversation? Who was left? And why was the moment so touching that ARMY all over the world mourned together? The first information didn't come from major media or official broadcasts, but from fragments of conversation that leaked and quickly spread through digital channels. Young, I need to talk. It's important. Jungkook's opening line wasn't just a greeting, but the first sign of news no one was ready to hear. On the other end, Jimin, who was undergoing military service with discipline and calm, instantly realized that something had changed. This wasn't just a friendly chat. It was an emotional call filled with grief, loss, and a temporary crack in the strength they had built together. Jungkook spoke with a trembling voice, occasionally silent, held back by emotion. He told Jimin that an important figure in their military life, a senior officer who had long been a mentor and protector to the members, had passed away in an accident while on duty. The figure they saw as a father figure amid the harshness of military life had suddenly gone, without farewell, without a final chance to say goodbye. Hyung is gone? Jimin asked, his voice choking, barely audible. Jungkook nodded silently. Even though it wasn't visible, Jimin knew the answer. To the public, this may simply be news of the loss of someone they never knew. But to BTS and ARMY, it is a story of an idol's mental collapse, rare honesty, and a human side that breaks through the boundaries of a grand stage. Jungkook cried during the conversation, not from fear or pressure, but because he lost someone who had long been his emotional support in extreme situations. His tears fell as he realized he hadn't had a chance to say thank you. And more than that Jimin would not be able to attend the final tribute ceremony due to military protocol limitations. The call wasn't just a conversation between friends. It was a moment of confession, regret, and mourning. He was like our guardian, Jimin. He told us to stay strong, said Jungkook, in a nearly inaudible voice, as if the words themselves were too heavy to say. Public reaction came like a tidal wave. Though it initially circulated in limited circles, an unofficial transcript of the call began to spread. ARMY from various countries responded in surprising ways. Thousands of open letters, digital poems, and tribute videos flooded social media timelines. In Brazil, a fan wrote, "We know you're strong, but you don't have to face this alone." In Korea, a simple altar was set up near the military base where Jungkook was stationed, complete with white flowers and candles as a form of respect. What made the atmosphere even more emotional was Jungkook's shocking confession during the call. In a hoarse voice, he expressed doubts about his future in the entertainment industry. "I feel lost, Jimin. If it weren't for all of you, I might have already given up," he said. Those words, though not intended for the public, revealed the vulnerable side of a superstar who had always appeared confident on stage. Yet amidst the grief, Jimin became the anchor. With a calm yet firm voice, he comforted Jungkook. "We've been through worse, and we'll get through this too. You're not alone." A simple sentence, but with incredible power, reminding fans and fellow members that BTS's bond is not just business or a music group. This is family. Big Hit Music eventually released a brief statement. They confirmed an incident affecting the emotional condition of the members, but refused to give details to maintain privacy. They also urged the public to respect the personal boundaries of the members currently serving in the military. No mention of the deceased's name, no confirmation of the call's contents. But the message was enough to reinforce suspicions that something significant had indeed happened. However, like a wave following a storm, came major questions from a more critical public. Did all this really happen? In the digital era, information can be shaped, manipulated, and spread within seconds. Some netizens began to question the credibility of the narrative. Why were there no official witnesses? Why only voice clips? Why did it happen just before a major milestone in BTS history? This skepticism is not without reason. Modern fandom culture often becomes a battlefield between genuine emotion and viral content. Many young fans are easily swept up in emotionally charged narratives wrapped in dramatic visuals, even though it might all be a product of social media manipulation. The question isn't just whether it's true, but also why such a narrative emerges now and who benefits most. But even though not all parts of this story can be objectively verified, one undeniable thing is the emotional response felt by the public. The fact that millions of people could be moved, sympathize, even cry together, shows that BTS is no longer just a music group. They have become a mirror of collective emotion, a symbol of courage and sorrow, and a voice for a generation tired of pretending to be okay. Now, the world is not only awaiting BTS's musical comeback. The world is waiting to see how they return as individuals who have gone through loss, trauma, and healing. And when that time comes, ARMY knows the songs they'll hear won't just be about love and dreams, but about loss, gratitude, and a very real human journey. Yet behind this heartbreaking story, one major question begins to arise and echo across digital platforms. Did all this really happen? Or are we caught in an emotional narrative so perfectly crafted for one thing: public attention? The narrative about the emotional late-night conversation between Jimin and Jungkook truly stirs the heart. We all want to believe the story is real, that the two figures we admire are going through tough times with sincerity and the strength of friendship. But shouldn't we ask, where did all this information come from? Who first spread the recording, transcript, or story? If we examine more deeply, the main sources spreading the story came from social media like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Threads on X, formerly Twitter, and several anonymous accounts without journalistic authority. There's been no official statement from Big Hit Music regarding the conversation's contents, let alone confirmation about the identity of the allegedly deceased officer. Shouldn't this be a warning for us to be more skeptical? Did we really hear Jungkook's actual voice? Or could it be just a manipulated recording edited to sound emotional? In this era of advanced audio technology, voice deepfakes are no longer impossible. Even casual fans can now edit voices to sound like their favorite artists. So, is there any independent verification of the audio clip's technical authenticity? Why do such pieces of information always surface at strategic times? Right before BTS's debut anniversary, near the end of military service, or when the hype about the members returning to the entertainment industry is at its peak. If this narrative only emerges to evoke emotional attachment ahead of a major moment, shouldn't we ask, who truly benefits? ARMY or other parties who might exploit collective emotion for commercial gain? Are we becoming victims of a marketing strategy disguised as tragedy? We're not accusing any specific party, but as consumers of information, we have a moral obligation not only to feel the story, but also to think about it rationally. Otherwise, we're not just fans, but could be pawns in a system larger than we imagine. You might have cried reading ARMY's comments describing how deep their sadness was after hearing the story. But pause and reflect. Did that emotion come from reality, or from a narrative carefully shaped to feel real? Let's consider the fact that BTS, from the start of their career, has always maintained a boundary between their personal and professional lives. They are very selective in sharing personal information, especially involving tragic events or deep grief. So, when such information suddenly appears en masse, not through official channels, but from viral 60-second videos, shouldn't we be alert? Have you ever asked who edited that video? Who added melancholic music, dramatic subtitles, and transition effects to create a sorrowful mood? Was the narrative based on reality, or just made to make you cry, feel touched, and share it further? We live in an era where emotion is a commodity. Every tear you shed might become a selling point for social media algorithms. The more emotionally engaged you are, the more likely the video or content will spread and generate exposure, clicks, even money. So, the question comes back to you. Is this empathy or exploitation? We're not here to give definitive answers. We're not saying the event is fake. We're only inviting you to question, to analyze, and to be more than just passive consumers of information. Because information, no matter how rich in emotion, still needs to be tested for truth. And here's the most important part to reflect on. If this story turns out to be untrue, what impact does it have on you? On the thousands of fans who lit candles, made altars, wrote long letters, even felt such deep loss. What does it mean if all of that was merely the result of a narrative crafted to touch hearts, without any factual basis?